All right, time for the next installment of the Beginner's Guides. Today we'll be doing Evelynn. If you want to check out which ones I've done, there is a playlist in the description that you can check out. And I'll be uploading daily, so make sure to subscribe as well so you don't miss any. So yeah, I'll be playing against a Maokai here, it seems. It's getting quite popular lately, the AP Maokai build, so I'm assuming it's that one. Also quite strong, so definitely not a bad move whatsoever. So yeah, I'll clear towards top here. It could result in me just getting like full clear, instantly recall, go for the bot, because Caitlyn Lux is most likely going to shove these two in anyway. Soraka's very passive, not really much to do there. So yeah, I have a Jhin mid as well, which means I'm solo AP, which I'm quite happy about. If you're playing AP jungle, being solo AP on especially Evelynn is great, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, Eve's abilities, I mean, Q is just like some spikes, as you can see. If you land the initial Q, the other ones do slightly more damage to that target, so that is definitely something to keep in mind. Pretty good leash. I don't think this is worth smiting now. I would smite the first one if the leash was a bit worse. If it's like 700 and they walk away, then you can just smite it. If they go like beneath 600 within the time they're still there, basically, then just don't smite it. We're fine. Second ability, her charm. It has two uses. You can either full charm, which will reduce the magic resist of the enemy, and also charm for X amount of time. That timing goes up the more points you put into it. And it also does the extra damage, of course, so it's very good for like bursting tanks out mostly with the full charm. And if you don't fully charge it, it will just do a slow pretty much, and that slow is very significant. It's very good to like catch people for kills, and that's actually the thing it's used for the most. It's actually rarer to go for a full charm than actually just use it like halfway and just get a slow out of it, you know. Also, the full charm can be used to smite objectives with, because if you full charm and then like, for example, flash ult, then you can get like the Baron for like 4k HP, for example. So that's really good. E is just max HP damage, which in the empowered version is also AoE and does slightly more damage, and the ult's just a massive execute. That's 140% of the damage if you have a target below 30% HP, which will be seen with an X mark on the target, which you will see throughout the game here shortly. Just look for like an X mark on the target, so your ult will do the increased damage to it. That is a spicy way for that thing to fly. Okay, so top is all the way shoved in. I'm thinking Maokai's probably clearing up as well. I do have priority here. You don't really need a potion for Eve to clear, but it's just safer. Really, that's all it is. Okay, Darius is just gonna pressure him, so I'm just gonna walk into this guy's top side and see what's up. He did this, he is doing this. Okay, there he is. Good day, sir. Now we're just gonna wait for the full charm. Dude, can I move? Thank you. Those situations, this is where you want a full charm, right? Especially like opportunities where you can. In that specific situation, if I land the full charm and I charm him towards me, he's dead. If I would dare go for the slow, he has an opportunity to flash away from me. Obviously there, it would be nice if I had vision, or if the Gromp didn't block my initial Q, but it's like kind of details where there's not much I can do. Right. Let's just walk up to this guy and put a full charm on his ass. Right now I'm just pressuring him so I can walk through here and get the other scuttle as well. Ooh, they're low on bot lane. This is the problem for Maokai right now. Because I got his Gromp and killed him, he is now in a position where he cannot fight me on scuttle, so I want to make sure I get both of them here. That's also why I run through mid lane the way I did. Okay, fine, you got me there. I'll full charm him and see if it's going to be a possibility here, which it is. And he filled his flash because he wasn't in position. Those situations, like that's where you want a full charm. But if you are looking to just quickly one-shot somebody, you don't full charm there. Ooh, and a double kill for a bot lane. All right. Cool, cool. I can technically recall here, but my entire jungle is already respawning. So what I'm going to do is I'm at least going to clear the bot side too. So I will have some camps that are actually like not up, if that makes sense. That are ticking on the timer when I take my recall. That'll be a benefit to me. Yeah, in this situation, because the Maokai's clear isn't too fast, especially a full clear, I knew I was going to probably be able to catch him on like his Gromp or his blue after a full clear. And because I had massive top lane priority, I went for it. If there was a situation in the early game where the Darius would have been pushed under his turret, I would never have gone for the invade. I probably would have just looked for the kill on Yorick for top lane and just gone for that. Always try to prioritize going for the kill instead of taking like a scuttle, because the first 2 scuttles really aren't worth much. They're obviously worth taking if you can get them, but they're not worth dying for or fighting for, really. Like the Maokai just tried. He tried to fight me for the bot scuttle, which is instantly what killed him. And that should never be a thing you do, because fighting for the first scuttle, you gain nothing from it. It gives you like 70 gold and that's it. You get no experience from that scuttle, really, so it's not worth going for. And the Maokai just showed you the exact mistake of why that isn't the case. What he should have done in this situation was just move on and clear this again, sweep his jungle one more time. You know, just play slow. He got killed once, but now because he tried to fight me, he got killed twice. And that is not good for him. Which, I mean, you can clearly see that one's pretty obvious, but yeah. Right, so we're past level 6. We switch back to the stealth ward. Pre-level 6, the red trinket is very good. Past level 6, it's not. Because if you use red trinket and you walk over a normal ward with that thing active in your invisibility, you're gonna get spotted. It's not like you're gonna get seen, but they will see the vision disappear off of the sweeping trinket, so they know you're there, so it's a bad thing to have. On level 9, you want to switch to the blue trinket. But yeah. We see the bot lane playing aggressive for level 6 here, so we can just charm this guy. He's gonna walk back into me. There we go, full charm him. Perfect. And there we go. I'm claiming the kill because I want to snowball with this. You don't have to use your ult like that. I could have just let that go and given the kill to my Tristana, which would have been fine. I don't really want a dragon here, because the Malzahar can just ult me. He has priority there. Jhin doesn't really have any room in mid lane. He's just going to get shoved in. The timing on Dragon's going to take too long. My smites would have been up in time, but the chances of me getting collapsed by Maokai and my bot lane has to kind of reset because they just have a bunch of gold. Their bot lane is going to come back and it's probably not going to end up timing-wise. So I don't want to go for the Dragon in that case specifically. I could have done probably, but it's a bit of a more risky one. I'd rather just get another rotation of my clear going, pick up the scuttle and be a bit more consistent with that, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. That bot lane play is like the way you want to gank with this. Going for ganks, it's good to go for a full charm. If you're looking for like picks or just like trying to insta kill somebody, the full charm, yeah, you kind of have to get a feel for it. It's hard to explain. That's one of those situations where it's like you kind of just have to look at the situation, whether the full charm be doable or not. If the full charm is like doable, it's generally worth doing. But in a lot of situations, if they have like a good way out within the time that that charm is on them, or you don't have a good flank angle, like let's say I would have walked straight from turret into the Caitlyn, then going for the full charm is probably not worth. But if I come from like the back side of the Caitlyn, then going for the full charm is worth, because at that point I can use her movement in like towards me to kind of stall out the charm timing and get an actual full charm off, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Like that's the best way I can explain it. So yeah, yeah. If it doesn't make sense, I guess ask that in the comments. But oh, there he is. There's a control ward here. He's probably gonna walk up to the wave. I'm just gonna be patient with this. We're gonna loop in behind. This is where you can use a full charm once again. You just walk in all the way behind and then let him walk into you like this. Right. I didn't want to ult that one specifically. I thought he was gonna get it with Darius ult, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let him have it. But he didn't get it with Darius ult, so I kind of had to ult to finish him off, because otherwise that wasn't going to work. He locked us in the box pretty nicely, so it's okay. There he is. I had a feeling he'd be doing his... let's go try the full charm once again. Right, this is a... Actually, he's still dead. I could have done it. I should have looked if the Yorick was dead or not. He just wasted that, so he's actually dead now. Okay, good. If he held his W, that could have been good for him, because then it means I couldn't really dive, because he can use his W to kind of stall time under turret and well, lock us down. But he used his W preemptively on Darius, which is really good for me. Still not level 9 yet, unfortunately, so I'll not be able to get my blue trinket here, but if you hit level 9, you make sure you get the blue trinket, because it's the best one to have. Allows you to not like have to face check something. Like, let's say if I want to walk towards, like, his red buff, for example, I can, like, blue trinket here, and then I would preemptively know vision before walking in. So I don't have to face check something on Eve, because that's pretty bad. Generally, face checking on Evelynn doesn't really end too well for you for the most part. I don't really want to smite this, because I would prefer to, like, have it for Dragon. Because at the moment, I have bot lane priority, like a massive amount of bot lane priority. But this is definitely an opportunity where I can just start the Dragon and do it. Malzahar is most likely recalling as well, I think. So this is like a very good situation for me to just go for this. Oh, they're going for the bot gank. I'm finishing Dragon here. That's guaranteed. I'm not going to go off the Dragon and rotate the bot lane as quick as I can. They're just going to be... Like, it's just going to be a play, you know? Right here, I could walk in with Jhin, potentially. If he walks into me here. There he goes. Exactly what I thought. That's the way I use those charms, right? Like, I wait for the good position to get, like, a good flank in and then let them walk the charm into me. I kind of trolled that one pretty hard, but he's still dead. Okay, we're good. This is where you would want to not use your entire thing. Like, that's a situation where you don't want to use your full charm, because in that situation there, you want to make sure... I'm letting him have the cannon here. You want to make sure that he gets slowed as quickly as possible so he's easier to hit, because the slow is still 65%, right? That's what I do there. Now, in normal situations, I would go for a Magi's here, but because I am playing a beginner's guide, I will not go Magi's, because Magi's, I understand, is difficult to play with for especially newer players. So just sitting on your Darksteel is perfectly fine. If you have a bunch of stacks on it, you're happy. This thing gives me 55 AEP and 40 HP on 10 stacks, which is essentially a large rod with a bit of extra HP, so it's worth like 1200 gold right now. So it's like something you can just do. But because I'm not going for the Magi's, I'll go for the Lich Bane here. Because going Deathcap, like you would go Magi's Deathcap, normally speaking, and then Deathcap will amplify the Magi's more. But if you go Deathcap and like skip the Magi's and just straight up go into Deathcap, it's not going to work too well because you don't have AP to amplify with Deathcap, if that makes sense. So for that reason, we are not going for Deathcap. We're going Void Staff, or we're going, sorry, Lich Bane first and then go for Deathcap, which is the build I would generally recommend if you're not going for Magi's. Because what you would do if you would go for Magi's, and ooh, that's a very, very aggressive play. I don't think that's very worth it. She's also dead here, right? Yeah. What you would do if you would go Magi's and you really are having a bad time with Magi's, you would go Lich Bane over Deathcap anyway, because you're not going to have the Magi's stacks to amplify the damage with Deathcap. Deathcap isn't that good in those situations. So that would be the play, but because we are just not going for Magi's at all, we're just going to skip that entire process and just go for the Lich Bane anyway, you know? Just going to charm this guy. This is another full charm opportunity, so that's what we'll be going for here. I guess I could have given him the assist on that one, to be fair, or the kill even. It's fine. The ult, and I can go for the Rift Herald right now, which is something I will be doing. Control Ward I'm not going to clear at the moment, because I don't want to waste my time on that. Going for, like, taking my time right now to just rush the Rift Herald down is definitely the best play, and that Control Ward, just hitting that for those amounts of hits isn't worth it. I'm actually going to use the blue trinket here, so I'll see them coming. I mean, I've done a lot of damage to Yorick in his laning phase, so my Darius is getting a lead off that, which is kind of good. Done also quite a bit for bot lane here. I don't like the fact that Soraka really helped me with this, because actually I do get the money. I was about to say I don't get the full 300 gold for it now, but apparently I did. Void Stat, or Lich Bane, sorry, it's going to be about 200 gold, so I'm just going to do my red, and then I think I'll get it at that point, hopefully. I still have this potion. Like, again, you don't need it, but it's better to buy it, especially if you're newer and you make some mistakes. Better to have it than not have it. I haven't used it yet, but yeah. This guy's walking all the way up. I can most likely go for him here, which I will, because there's no turret, so I might as well do this. Open from behind. And again, this is one of those full charm angles. You just charm him, and then you just wait, because this is one of those chances you can just do that. I feel like I should ult him here, maybe. I'm okay. Ooh. I wasn't going to get the proper hit there, so I just smited the cannon, because I don't want to miss out on the cannon. Use the Baron recall that you get from the Rift Herald here to quickly back. Because what we see right here, like, I could maybe, like, use the Rift Herald top lane and all that, get this turret, but we see the angle on bot lane fight here. They went a little hard there. Caitlyn might still walk up, but I doubt it. I assume she's gonna try to, like, recall somewhere. I think I'm just gonna... just try to walk up, I guess. I'm too late, yeah. I figured as much. I'll let this wave push towards my side. I'm not gonna touch it, so the Tristana can just take that. But... I wanted to try to, like, recall and get the bot lane play as fast as possible there to counter that, to give my bot lane a better chance, but they already kind of died before I got there, so it kind of is what it is. Okay. With the blue... Oh, wait a second. Hold. She's stepping the safe way. That's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping she'd walk back in this direction, but she played it smart. Just gotta go for this, buddy. That's what we want to see. We saw the Caitlyn positioned by herself. You want to look for those targets as much as you can. This is one of those situations where you don't want to full charm him, where you just quickly want to get the slow in case he tries to run. And I'm not going to use my smite there on him for burst. Like, I could have technically smite bursted him with it on top of everything else. But I need a smite for the dragon, so I can't afford to do that. To smite this dragon, or like guarantee the smite on this dragon, what you can do is this. At about this HP, you just wait this out, get your passive back, so your E refreshes, and then you just burst it out from here. So you can use your E alongside that. You saw I bursted it up pretty much at smite range. I could have used my smite there as well, but that's the way you would do it without the smite. Dead. Using Rocket Belt, by the way, generally what I do is I just Q Rocket Belt into something. Try to like land the charm, Q Rocket Belt, and then E. I mean, I have done a lot of damage here. Especially to these Yorick's mental, I think. Jesus Christ. Oh no, man. Make sure to like clip all the bushes if you're rotating around. I need to use this Herald soon, actually. I'm kind of trolling. My team is also kind of dying. I just wait for her to walk into me here. Generally, if you like have the vision advantage, if you can just wait for them to walk into you, I'm just going to do this. Place a blue trinket. I walk into the trap there. That's pretty bad. I had to use the Herald soonish, so... I didn't hit her there. That's unfortunate. Oh, he has a very good position on the Herald here, and this is not going to work. Yeah, Herald wasted. I mean, it was going to be a waste anyway, because I kind of held it a little too long. What I should have done is I should have used it earlier, which was a mistake on my end, because I didn't do that. But, yeah, that's my bad. I kind of had to use it there. I had to try, at least, you know. Just pick this up. Get my bolt side up here as well. So you want to make sure you keep clearing here. Keep my tempo going. I've pretty much made it this game so that the Maokai couldn't really play, because I had started punishing him very early on for his like clear speed thing. So that's what worked out pretty well for me in this case. That kind of transitioned itself into a bigger lead. Make sure we keep clearing here. We can like start applying some Evelynn cheese tactics a bit later on here as well. Ideally right now I just want to get enough money on this recall for the double large world, so I'm gonna need like an extra 3-ish hundred gold. Preferably I just looked for like people that are out of position. These are like situations where you want to use a blue trinket, because you don't want to face check this bush and like realize there's a Maokai there and just instantly die. That would be bad. So the Yorick here is going to be just a nice kill. This guy is just a nice pickup. Rocket Belt past his minions there, just do this, and I'll just ult him. Make sure to get the cannon with the Lich Bane proc, and then we'll recall. We sell the potion. Again, I never used it, but Evelynn passive generally gives you enough HP regeneration to not need potions at all, but it's still safer to pick it up early. It's still 50 gold investment that you technically don't have to do, which might mean you can buy like your Amp Tome Dark Seal on your first recall more comfortably for the most part. But yeah, that's up to you, really. Right now my ult's on cooldown, my top side's up, so I'm actually just going to clear my top side here real quick and see what's up. If you have Magi's, by the way, kills like this on Yorick are worth more. Because at that point, you would, like, he wasn't really worth the gold going for realistically. I just needed his gold to buy, like, the large rods effectively. But if you have Magi stacks, those side kills on people that are inting or, like, losing is very, very good because they give you Magi stacks as a reward as well. So you'd gain a bunch of AP every time you get a kill. So those kills become better and better. Like, if you need the stacks. If you don't need the stacks, then you don't have to do it. But if you need the stacks, it's very good to do. That's what I'm saying. So, like, people that are tilted or that keep split pushing, that are just easy kills. If you don't have a fully stacked Magi's, it's something you can abuse. I'm just gonna calmly sit on my Dark Seal this game. It still gives me, like, a solid amount of AP. It's essentially just sitting there as a large rod. So it's not bad at all. I could technically look for Baron here. See a Lux in this position. Okay. I don't want to go in on that because I would get CC locked to death basically with a Maokai there as well. Ideally, you just want to look as much as possible for like people that are out of position you can pick off. Let's say Caitlyn would go bot lane here, for example. That's something I would look for this Lux here. Like, that's perfect target selection. Go for this guy with a full charm because he is in a position where I can use that to my advantage probably. It timed out. Damn. It did time out there, unfortunately. Oh, that actually hit me. Interesting. And kind of scare him a bit. The full charm forces... You can also use your full charm in a way to force them back. Like, force them to walk away from you. Let's go for the... I have to ult because I can't afford to let this Malzahar ult me. That would be really bad. Okay, I have to flash. Ah, I'm such a bad position, man. Dude, can I please do anything? I got silenced for so long. This should be good for me. Yeah, good cleanup from Darius there. I just had to play patiently and play defensive. Because you... Like, if you get CC locked, especially by a Malzahar ultimate on Eve, you're just dead anyway. Like, I might be fed and all that, but... Damn, you got me. That's fair. She landed the entire combo on me, unfortunately. I was low enough. That's what I mean. Like, you die very quickly still. I might be fed, but I still die very quickly, so any mistake can be punished. But, since I'm not playing with Magi's, this is one of the advantages, though. If I die, I don't really lose anything. I don't lose a tremendous amount of Magi stacks, so it's actually not too terrible. If that makes sense. Like, I'm not too worried here. It's kind of whatever. The Dark Shield's just like, eh. You know, you lose like 5 stacks, you get that back anyway, not a problem. It's still worth the inventory slot to hold on to for now. Looking at this team, right, there are 2 items I want to finish my build with here, and that's Banshees and Void Staff. Now, generally speaking, you would pick between Void Staff and Lichbane later on if you are going for a Magi's setup. Because I'm not going for Magi's, I kind of finish out the build with both of those items. The advantage that Banshees are going to have for me is that it's going to block like a Lux Q, for example, so I can't get comboed by her, or I'd like can avoid like a Malzahar insta ult me, like all that type of stuff. It's very beneficial to have in this situation. I would still have picked up the Banshees to deal with those situations, but yeah. But I don't need the Magi's here, so we can just calmly do this way. This is fine. I don't really want to go for him. I just want to hit level 16 here and be fine with that. I'm gonna have to rotate towards this as quick as I can. Make sure to hit as many bushes as possible here to get the movement speed. I had the Rocket Belt to dodge the Lux thing. So that would have been bad for me. Okay. My team is kind of throwing.
Toss away the rest.
I think the one death I have is really not too avoidable for the most part.
How about a kiss?
Just gonna go for this full charm burst, and then right before I get the Baron hand debuff, I can still like lead this thing off with a bit of burst. I have a Soraka here. She can heal me plenty, so I should be fine for the most part. I just hope Darius kind of helps me out. If I want to secure a smite with like a team setup, can you? What are you doing, man? I wanted the question mark ping. I mean, he just needs to tank this. What I do here is, okay, I'm just going to wait this out. We're going to get this here, and then we just smite combo it like this. What you can do there, on top of that, if you want to guarantee it, is you use that combo that I just used with the full charm, wait passive, get the empowered E off, then ult smite it, and it can smite it from like 5k. I can't do this. I have to respect. I can't walk into that. We're just gonna do this, walk back this way, so the Maokai's checking for me in the other direction, and then I hopefully can go for the Caitlyn or something. I don't know if Malzahar has ultimate. That's my problem right now. That's like the main thing I'm concerning myself with at the moment. If I know he has ult, I can go for this very easily. If I had Banshees, I can go for this very easily, but I don't know this information. So what I'm doing now is I'm just waiting in behind them to see when they're gonna like start recalling and stuff like that, you know? Try to get a good angle for myself. Like this guy here, for example, this is going to be good. That's the one I'm looking for. I make sure I smite his shield away there, so he can't do anything about that. This guy's going to get collapsed on. I'm going to walk back further into mid lane here to see if I can like scout somebody like flanking over this side. They're looking to all go bot lane, it seems. There's the Lux. Perfect. I'm making sure to loop around as far as possible to see them coming. This is good. I accidentally misclicked my full charm, so that kind of sucks for me, I guess. Pick that up. He has his Jack-Show Sex. I should be careful. He's very tanky right now. I'm looping around for Caitlyn here. Built up this way, so I'm in range of Caitlyn and I can finish her off. That's a situation where I use my ult the other direction just to get the dash off, because that way I can finish him off. You take it. I don't care. I don't give a shit about red buff. 33 seconds on Dragon, so we're just gonna make sure we play for that. I want to make sure I get the soul here as like a high priority because it's very important. Picking up things like soul and stuff are very, very crucial, so I definitely want to be doing that. I still have some time to stretch here, I suppose, so I'm just gonna clear some of these camps real quick. I have time to do this camp as well, so I'm gonna do this real quick and then we'll walk down. As you can see, I'm basically going to get their own spawn anyway. We just rush this down. We're just gonna combo this like once like this, and I'm gonna have to like kind of guarantee the smite here, it seems. So we're just gonna full charm. We waited. I don't have my smite, but as you can see right there, it doesn't matter if you have smite or not. You can just do that, and it will essentially smite the thing for you still. So we do this. At this point, we're going to sell this. We're going to get the Blighted Jewel. And since we have enough money, I'll get a blue pot as well. Because most likely on the next recall, I'll be able to afford my Void Staff anyway. There's nothing to gain on mid. They should not be going mid lane here. We're going to go for this guy. What we do here is we just walk up. He's going to probably run back now. Or he's just crazy and he keeps walking forward because he doesn't give a shit. That's fine with me. Really? My ult wasn't low enough HP. I guess he got the third. Fair enough. He doesn't care there. But generally people would run back there, so that's what I positioned myself for. But I guess this guy doesn't care. It is whatever. He got the third. Yorick blasts third anyway, so... I don't want to let him split push either, because at that point he would just kill the thirds way too quickly. As you saw, he like two-shotted that thing. So, yeah. I don't want to be sitting here on top lane either, pushing out the wave the entire time. That's not the play. I definitely want to like rotate into mid. This stage in the game, you want to try to walk into their mid lane as far as possible, or like in any lane really, and try to get behind them so you can get a nice flank on them. Like in this situation, I can get in behind them, and I should be able to like get a decent flank. Yeah, he kind of hooked me awkwardly, or hooked Caitlyn awkwardly, which made it awkward for me. I missed my things. My priority is to try to get invisible again. I have to respect the... This is where we use the slowing effect of this thing and blast him. Oh, he interrupted me. Rat. He's gonna ult me. He's gonna ult me. If I walk up, he's ulting me and I'm dead. Like, I would actually die to a Malzahar ultimate, so I have to respect it. I can use my passive to heal back as long as the Liandry's just disappears, because as you can see, this HP is going to get refreshed, because I have enough AP to stack up enough HP to be refreshed. Because the more AP you have, it's going to go below, like, your passive kicks in below this amount of HP, which stacks up with more AP. Kill him quickly. Try to get a full charm on this guy. He loses, like, he has a Jack Show stack there, but he loses a lot of resistances as long as I get this off. 45% of them are just straight up gone. But yeah, this is also why you don't want to build things like Shadow Flame on Evelynn, because it gives your it makes your HP pool a lot higher, which then like this desynergizes with your passive. It's actually quite bad to have a lot more HP, because your passive is gonna, like, you're gonna need more AP to compensate. I don't have to. I got silenced. That's very unfortunate. If I had a Rocket Belt there, I could just go for it. Okay, good kill. I think I'm just going to go for Baron here. I'm just not going to try to push this, because this is a good Baron angle. They have a pretty defensive setup here. Without Baron, we're really not going to be able to push it in too much. It would be nice if I could get this. Oh, he got it. Okay, cool. Fortunately for me. I mean, I don't really need it that much. Evelynn is not one of those champs that needs a lot of mana sustain. That's fine. But whoever tanks Baron does 50% less damage to it, and I don't want to be that one. I can use my charm here for some extra damage right now, instead of just like using it to smite, because I'm not going to need it to smite here probably. There we go. Just hope they wait for me. We pick up the Void Staff here, and then the Elixir of Sorcery. Now, technically, you can have this entire build setup, sell your boots, or like eventually, like if you have a Magias, you can sell the boots for like a Lich Bane if you would go this route. Because this gives 8% movement speed. Your Magias gives 10% movement speed. You have Relentless Hunter and you have the Blue Smite, so you can easily afford to sell boots late game for that if you would go Magias. But because don't have Magias, it's really like not any worth, because I don't gain too much move, and movement speed is very important on Evelynn, so you kind of want to have the movement speed. Because I don't have the Magias, the 10% movement speed is not something I can get from it right now, so it would not be too great to sell my boots and lose that movement speed, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Also, if you have Baron on Eve, you kind of have to be a bit careful, because if I walk up to this minion wave early, then he will realize I'm there. He tried to be greedy there. Instead of just ulting me straight away, he tried to get his abilities off. But in that case, I waited for the minion wave, so they don't get Baron straight away. And now we're just going to look for priority targets here. This guy, for example, he's typing. Anything from the back line is good. We're going to full charm this guy. He's going to walk into me. One-shot him as well. But it's like, those angles is what you want to look for. Like, I want to angle myself all the way behind them, so I can catch people off guard, like the Caitlyn that's typing, for example, or looking in her shop perhaps, or something along those lines. This is where you want to just use a normal charm. She won, or she survived because she exhausted me, so fair play to her, I suppose. Wasted my ult, I guess. Yeah, well, that's okay. That is gonna be it anyway, though. That's how you want to play Evelynn. If you have questions, make sure to put this in the comments. And I will now move on to the endgame stats. Alright, so for the endgame stats here, I ended up doing 60k damage, which is like triple the rest of the game. Very, very solid. True damage to champions at about 1600, which is pretty much a smite, I believe, nothing else. Damage to objectives at 70k. As a winning jungler, this should always be the highest. Like, you should always have this as the highest stat, because this means you had Dragon Control, you had like Rift Heralds, Barons, all that type of stuff. You need to make sure you are on top of those. If, let's say, this would have been a stat where I had like the same amount as my Darius, I would be griefing. And that is something you can realize as well, because yeah, then you would have to fix that, and you have to go for more objectives. You have to look more actively to see when you can do a Rift Herald or when you can be able to do a Dragon, because then you're just like really not fulfilling your role. As a jungler, this should always be the highest thing. So it's an easy stat to look at for people. Healing done, 1500, not too much, obviously. Damage taken. Oh, this doesn't count your passive, by the way. If this would count your passive, then, I mean, I guess yes. But this is, yeah, it doesn't count your passive. This is pretty much just Like, I don't even know where this comes from, honestly. You know, it's not much. Probably like some type of lifesteal, I don't even know. But yeah, damage taken at about 30k here, pretty decent. It's not too much. Yorick and Maokai took a lot. Self-mitigated at 26.4. Gold earned at 20.7. And then for the runes, Electrocute dealt 5,400 damage. So that's very, very good damage. And obviously sudden impact with that as well at 2,300. Eyeball Collection for just 30 AP, which is very nice AP to have additionally. Relentless for the movement speed. Again, Relentless alongside the Blue Smite is going to give you a ton of movement speed across the map. If you do build a Magice, you're going to get the 10% movement speed to synergize with this, and then also the Magice you would pick up then. And then the boots, and you're going to have even more map rotation speed, and then the Blue Smite on top of that, so you're just going to be zooming. But yeah, I mean, Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm are the best two runes right now. Previously, for those of you that remember like Evelyn from like last season, you had the option of going Magical Footwork for the free boots, and then a Cosmic Insight because you wanted to create tempo for yourself in the early game. With the Cosmic Insight, so you have Smite cooldowns and your Smite upgrade faster and all that, and you just have more jungle tempo that way because Smites mattered at that point. You had a Smite quest. That's no longer the case, so now you don't pick that anymore because it's just not that good. Now you just go Absolute Focus, Gathering Storm for more scaling and more overall just more damage. Like Absolute Focus, a lot of additional damage to be gained, more burst, and then Gathering Storm to scale for more burst as well. So yeah, that is it for Eve, and I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Goodbye.